The bottom of the complex with its underlying magma chamber is located on the western edge. The story of this caldera begins 148 million years ago during the late Jurassic period. During this period, southeastern China represented the edge of a north to south trending volcanic province that produced numerous and frequent high-volume explosive eruptions. These major eruptions formed multiple smaller calderas of variable sizes, each of which may have each been as much as a kilometer deep. The cause for all of these major eruptions related to the area's geologic setting. Geologic setting offshore more than 100 kilometers to the east, a tectonic plate collision was ongoing. One plate was being subducted underneath another, from which melted material migrated upwards, forming a chain of volcanoes. However, the plate subduction also caused mantle convection to occur further back. Material in the mantle was thus sent upwards. Over tens of thousands of years, beginning 141 million years ago, one such massive body of magma slowly expanded in volume at around 8 kilometers depth. During this timespan, it generated a few eruptions on the surface, forming lava domes, but the majority of magma stayed at depth. This magma chamber eventually reached a volume of several hundred cubic kilometers, if not more, after which something triggered a large volume of material to rush towards the surface. As the supereruption occurs erupted from a lengthy fissure, powerful explosions occurred which created a loud roar. As viscous rhyolite lava and ash was violently ejected out of these vents, the eruption became more energetic, releasing a sustained column of material at a rate of several million cubic meters of rock per second. As a plume of ash shot 50 kilometers or 164,000 feet into the atmosphere, part of the eruption column collapsed, producing highly energetic gas currents referred to as pyroclastic flows. These flows were up to a kilometer in height and seemingly defied local topography by traveling over mountains, and reaching more than 100 kilometers distant. After a several-day-long intensive eruption, the underlying magma chamber had been drained to a point that the rock overlying it collapsed downwards by 1,850 meters, forming an 18-kilometer-wide caldera. In total, 1,300 cubic kilometers of rock was ejected in an eruption 30% larger than the most recent supereruption of Yellowstone. Some areas were buried in more than 400 meters thick of rhyolitic ash in the course of less than a week. Formation of hexagonal columns. The aforementioned ash was thickest within the caldera and took many years to cool. As it cooled largely from the top down, the material contracted towards a series of evenly spaced centers. Since the best way to accommodate this contraction was to form a series of near 120-degree angle cracks, this process eventually formed polygon shapes, primarily six-sided hexagons. These hexagon-shaped cracks then propagated downwards, as once the process began, going further down required less energy. By the time the cooling had completed, many hexagonal columns had been constructed. Thanks for watching. If you would like to request a specific topic, please leave a comment below. As a final note, I would like to thank this channel's patrons on Patreon and channel members